Okay, my outstanding friends, this is Roger. I'm kind of thrilled to tell you that I was contacted by a place that's just absolutely enormous. And they have been watching me about the laser and the acceleration and claiming that there's a new atomic model, electron flood theory, which does solve everything. And all of the experiments I have shown, they contacted me, asked me if I would like to teach a course of electronics and this new theory on their platform, and they have like 170 million people, the entire world. So this is going to be really good. We haven't finalized any deal, but they want me to teach a course, and it'll probably be between 6 and 10 videos, all describing the research on this particular event. And this is what we need to save the world right now. And I was so thrilled to see this. I hope they go through with this. All right, I love you all. Good morning, my friends. We are going to talk about the future of our planet and of our lives and of our children's lives. And this is going to be pretty sobering. I hope it's going to be sobering, because if people got to sober up before, we're just all going to die very soon if we don't do something. And something is not being done. Okay, my friends, the tragedy is that this is our very, very immediate future if we can't turn this around. No fuel means no food, no water, no heat, no transportation. Industry will slow down, productivity will plummet, chaos, starvation, despair, and all of the terrible things that come from that. Hostilities and violence, and it could end up in cannibalism. I have no idea. When there's no food to eat, and there's no water to drink, and there's no heat, and there's no place to live, and this is what's going to happen. They're going to try to invade something to take the good stuff from somebody that has it, and this is what's happening now. You're seeing the whole world is being overrun by migrants that have no place to survive. We can get out of this today. Okay, we all know about the disaster of fossil fuels. They're digging in the earth, they're fracking and exploding the earth for gases and oils, and it's a nightmare. And it's creating huge amounts of emissions and gases that are expanding our gaseous envelope around the earth, creating our global warming. Now, what can we do about it? Okay, so you say, well, Roger, no problem. We just drill, get more oil, and burn more stuff. Well, let me tell you something. Every time you burn something, you expand it exponentially because you turn a solid into a gas. That is the problem with our greenhouse gases. It's not that it's carbon. It's that we're expanding our envelope around the earth. Instead of being out here, it's way out here somewhere. We're scrubbing up, just absolutely scrubbing terribly through the particles in space, because the sun emits particles. You see these? Those are particles. Some of them spin faster than other ones. They hit us. I mean, it's just so obvious. They call it the solar wind, the emissions, the particles. Absolutely. This is not a vacuum. We're scrubbing through that as we increase our envelope. Because of expansion gases, it scrubs harder. So I don't care if you get rid of all the carbon you want. If we keep making solid things into gases, we're done. What I am going to propose and show is that we don't have to do that at all. We can get free energy and not convert anything into gases. I mean, just a tiny little bit, nothing, just a little bit of warmth, but not like we're doing now. We got to burn a ton of stuff to create electricity. Then we got to send it all the way out through all these grids and everything. Not anymore. Okay, my great, outstanding, wonderful friends, can nuclear fusion generate unlimited emissions, free energy by Forbes? And yes, it can. And we can do this today. And I show you how very shortly. Nuclear fusion has long heralded as a process of energy. Replicating the process that powers the sun on Earth promises endless supply of renewable energy, no greenhouse gases. That's the key right there. It's not necessarily carbon. We'll talk about that in a minute. The concept has fascinated fiction writers, but has eluded scientists for decades. Now there's multiple projects entering critical phases. However, the timing could not be better, as fusion could be a trump card in the world's quest for emission-free energy. And that's what we have to have, and we can do it today. Okay, my friends, they're still dreaming of cold fusion Is it still a possibility? This is just not long ago, a few months ago. And it is a fact, not a possibility. And they refuse to engage. Okay, so what is cold fusion? Well, fusion means to make something come back together. Well, before it can come back together, you got to separate it. Well, how do you separate it? What they're doing now is they're heating stuff up so hot that it breaks into pieces. Then when it comes back together, they bring that energy out. Well, they can't even get back to the energy they put in. Best they can do right now, I think, is 85% of what they used to create the fusion, they can get back. Create the fission, because you have to fizz it first. This is exactly what we did. We took light, so we're starting with the smallest particles. They're using huge particles, so they have to really put some power in there. We don't have to put any power in at all. We shine the light from a red laser through a venturi, and we have fission right here and fusion right here. And these are the particles of light. Light is a particle. Light can obviously accelerate. And there it is accelerating. I mean, there's no question about that. And here is a fizzes, which is divides the black from the white, and here it comes back together. And what black and white, Roger? Well, this black and white right here. Cornell calls them 2p2h particles. 2 P's, the white ones, and 2 holes, the black ones. And they've seen this, and they've seen the excess energy. They've seen this happen. They just don't know how to do it. Well, we do. And I want it done. All right, this is a recent article about cold fusion. They're just letting it die because nobody believes in it anymore. And it says nuclear fusion, a potential energy source that could provide a vast amount of power without any harmful byproducts. They know about this, they just don't know how to do it. And they can't show cold fusion. I have shown it. Now, cold fusion is the idea that fusion could occur at much lower temperatures, making it feasible as an energy source on Earth. And we did it at room temperature, not a single extra degree added. All right, nobody's ever seen the photons before. There they are right there, the 2p2h. We can separate those. That's fission. That is fission. And then they come back together. That is fusion. And here it is right here. The particles accelerate. They smash at the venturi. The black cannot get through because we engineered this venturi years ago to create just enough of a slot and a venturi effect that accelerated and crushed the fields, the magnetic fields surrounding the particles. That's what creates these waves. It's a particle with a huge field around it, so the whole field has to go through the air. But the particle is what creates the field, and the particle is in the dead center of the wave. Now, here it is accelerating. Here it is literally separating. That's fission. Here it is coming back together. That's fusion. In between, we can harvest unlimited amounts of energy, 100% free. And this is the cheapest materials that are made now. Lasers are a dime a dozen. The venturi costs nothing whatsoever. The solar collector will be encased in a little device, something like this, a box like this. You could plug, or anything. You carry that out in the woods, plug all your stuff in, cut trees down, spray water on fires, create water pumps to pump water down to where you can use it, create lighting so that you can create food, heat, energy, totally portable. Walk around with this, no problem whatsoever. Inside of here would be so much energy you could never use it. You see that? That's 200 times what we put in. 200 times, not 200%. What we started here was, let's say, 1 watt. We got 200 watts here. Now, how much can we harvest? Not all of that, but we can get a hell of a lot more than 1 watt back. Okay, so here it is, my friends. It requires a brand new model, which the Bohr model's gone. They know it's no good. It never worked. There is no such thing as a gigantic positive nucleus and a couple of little tiny negatives that are floating around. The whole nucleus is made of dipole electrons, all globbed in a ball, just like this. Every one of these little balls is a dipole, and they collect together, and they make, 2 of them make a photon. And that's what we're seeing right there. This is light. This is the smallest particles that exist. They don't even know what light is. They don't know what gravity is. They don't know there's so many things that are unknown now because they don't understand the nuclear model is totally wrong. There is no such thing as a big, gigantic, positive nuclear core. It's this. And this is what creates the photons, and then 1839 or so of these particular particles become stable because they lock in. Just ask Tesla, he knew. And we get free energy today. Today, I mean literally today. These things are off the shelf. There's nothing that has to be developed. It is stock. We did it. We did it right there. Right there. And if you had a harvester there, you would be harvesting all that excess energy today. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's either this, something like this that we get free energy from, and this is an absolute certainty. There is no question whatsoever what you see there. Either that or it's this. What would you like?